2015 to 2020 at the Studienkolleg TU Berlin, and most of the students in my classes, as you, I guess, assume, came from Syria, followed by Afghanistan, Iran, Eritrea, etc. And at the very beginning, we started with beginners level, A1, till C1 level, roughly 1 year. But then later on, the majority started then maybe 2016, 17, and the intermediate level, B1, B2 level, and most of the courses went then from intermediate to professional level to C1, aiming all for the FSP. That's the special test thing here at the Studienkolleg. It's an equivalent to the DSH, one of the two major certificates next to test stuff for German language entering the study section. And yeah, it was an intensive course program, so 20 to 24 hours per week. Not me alone, but together with round about 4 other teaching staff members during all that years. The key questions are what's important in academic language in general, like from a classroom perspective. Of course, under the umbrella or under the glasses, like are there significant differences between students with and without refugee background? And to that second questions, I would definitely give a big yes answer, which I guess everybody will agree on that. So there are a lot of challenges for students when they have a refugee background. And of course, that's affecting the work together with them in the classroom. They have less preparation when they come compared with other students. If they decide to study abroad, then one would start from Australia, for example, 2 years before to really start studying in Germany. Whereas as a refugee, you don't plan that many years ahead. And then they would have a difficult political status, causing trauma, stress, instability. Normally, the refugees, they had a very low socioeconomic status, so they had less or no private space for studying after classes or before classes. They had a very poor technical equipment, so roughly everybody only had a smartphone. And they had a lot of other things to do. So overload of responsibility, but on the other hand, overload of freedom. Now, when they were, in my case, in Germany, then they had a lot of freedom, which they wanted to discover. So again, yeah, time, they need to balance between study and responsibility and freedom. And another issue was like it was like the fact that there's kind of a heterogeneous group, mostly men, and yeah, only a few countries from the whole world. That's a big difference to other international groups where you might have like participants from all around the globe. And I guess you agree on that as well. Pretty soon we realized that, yeah, many from the Arab and Middle East countries, they had different teaching and learning traditions, like a lot of hierarchy in the classroom. So the teacher was a big authority, and I mean, I am that as well, but definitely can criticize me and discuss with me any topic. So yeah, we need to find that out and learn it together. And yeah, another thing which is connected to my last point is that there were a lot of deficits or different world knowledge. So many contemporary discourses which we have in Germany, such as sustainability, post-materialism, identity, etc., were not so much in that group when we worked together. As I said, it was a steep progression, and also the target group compared with all the other refugees, like roughly 1 million in Germany these years, then like people who wanted to study from that group, it's kind of a small number. So also the publisher providing material, they would not focus on that particular group. So that means like we needed as teachers to, not invent, but redesign a lot of the material for ourselves. Now I'm coming to the best practice, addressing the issue thing. I try to make a little bit entertaining, adding a few of the pictures I collected during the years here. So definitely we had a lot of group work, because working together like for 4 or 6 hours a week, you need to change a lot of the learning space, so shifting around the tables and the chairs, etc. A lot of frequent mix of methods. In the very beginning, it was very difficult for the people to understand like what we wanted from them, how we work together in different methods, like kind of play learning or game learnings, and they thought like, no, that's for childs. But then they realized, hey, that's pretty cool and it's exciting, and I'm learning something by it. So the next times they would definitely be able to use that method quicker. As I said, like there was a lot of self-design and redesign necessary from the teacher's perspective. Sorry, as you can see, at those days, and quite in the opposite to me now in Melbourne here, but everything is digital. In these days, the good old handwork and the good old paper-based materials were there, but yeah, still it was easy, and the students could also be part of the material production process. For me, also from the very beginning, it was very important to have a transparent seminar structure. By that, I meant like after the second seminar, sorry, not seminar, but class I had there, I realized I have to tell them from the very beginning that this preparatory class is not the end of their language learning process, that I will help them to be able to have a good basic or very good language skill level, but it's not enough to like finish the whole studies then later on. The language learning process will continue. And so, yeah, it's a longer learning process. So that helped them a lot to evaluate themselves and not be frustrated when they would enter then finally the university. Also, to that part, I want to mention here that pretty soon I realized that it's very important to do a lot of feedback rounds to introduce the method of feedbacks, and also for me, like monitoring the students to be able to know what's going on, and also for them to realize, hey, we can, with that method, really bring our feedback into the group and tell Andreas like what we want to do, like in a democratic decision, like we want to train more on reading, we want to train more on writing, etc. Fine-tuning the didactics, so maybe that's the core of my very quick presentation here. So as I said, there were quite some differences or deficits in the whole discourse topic. So whenever we had a longer text to cover or some writing exercise were coming up, so then it needs a lot of vocabulary pre-teaching. Vocabulary in general, but especially when it comes to concepts and terminology. You can see here the good old chalk board on the right-hand side. So we sort things out, categorizing them, not only linguistically, but also like, working our vocab knowledge around it. And as I guess Mareike worked with you last week, the writing skill training was a major part of the whole program. I would say a third of the time I would plan for the writing skill training, because it's a very, very difficult skill to train itself. But then with the refugees, all this, what I had said before, with like being able to express your own opinion with arguments and then like discuss it in a text. We had in the Studienkolleg a statement with a graphic description text format. So like 3 handwritten pages roughly. So the people really had to train that, like this kind of formal format. And it was a major part of the classroom, of course. One really good practice thing I want to share with you were the regular field trips, which I really focused hard. I would say like roughly once a month. I was doing a field trip, either a very small one, just around the corner, Torre Berlin. There's a wonderful garden or park there. We can have like just a walk around learning vocab, but also we did some project-based field trips, like going to publisher's house, a museum. Here you can see in the middle some city gardening, and then just like, getting a guided tour, etc. And this had a lot of good benefits to the group, like it would strengthen the group feeling, and it felt like a project-based learning, all the vocabulary and the talking about it. It was more easy to learn. And for the most of the students at the very beginning, it really opened new perspective on society and lives, which they could like connect on later on, maybe doing an internship or become a new idea for what to study or what to work in Germany. So my conclusion, and also connected to a very, very brief outlook, is that yeah, preparatory language course for students with refugee background definitely need more differentiation and additional offers. May it be in the very beginning at the Studienkolleg, there was a buddy program and like tutoring, etc., and film events, etc. So yeah, additional offers. And I would say like they are the stress test for regular courses. Like you really get to review your methods and your techniques, like what works with this amount of people having these many challenges on top. And so you sharpen your instruments. And I took personally a lot of benefit out of it, especially like producing by myself effectively new materials, which I right now do as a subject coordinator over here all the time. I have to prepare my own materials. As I said, like everything digital now, but still, I mean, I have to scan and I have to evaluate what's good for what skills, etc. So yeah, many methods and materials can be adopted to regular courses or can be overtaken from the skills as a teacher from other courses as well. My outline would be like to the question, Quo Vadis study preparation, just these 2 bullet points here. As you may know, and totally agree, I guess, is that in the future, and started already, that there's a lot of more preparation and test options abroad happening. I mean, yeah, I don't know how many centers are in China and Indonesia, in India to do like test stuff. Normally it's connected to the Goethe Institute. But I guess other players will come up soon, especially with the digital format. And then the second and last point is, of course, that it's going to be a change of formats. As you may know, that with the new term mediation, so not only testing one skill, but combination of skills, first reading and then speaking about something. So these formats shape other test formats, also together with the development of the AI. So maybe the writing skills are not so important anymore, but that's an open question, of course. I'm happy to discuss. Yeah. Thank you very much.